Наталя Валеріївна, можна, користуючись нагодою, запитати? По монографії у нас кінцеві терміни 1 лютого чи ще
У
трошки
вас
є
ще є
час?
терміни, є ще терміни. І що там, у мене нікого нема. Я кажуть, один мій розділ. Так
Ну
що
так,
да.
ну того, що дуже якось багато роботи всього і трошки не встигаємо.
Відпочинемо зараз і всі там все зробимо. Вони
Все чудово. Ну
опублікують
просто щоб
швидко, да, головне зібрати.
просто розуміти, що якщо є трошечки ще часу, що встигнемо тоді.
Є.
А до вас можна якось доєднатися? Про що ви пишете? Чи то у вас закрита вечірка?
Цю монографію будемо друкувати в Польщі, якщо з вами це буде як міжнародне видання, 150 годин будете списувати. Вартість ми не знаємо, ми спочатку подаємо, вони там рахують електронне видання, ну просто, може, так практикували, ну десь, може, плюс-мінус 1000 гривень розділ буде. На англійській мові 60 тисяч знаків, як кажуть. Ну. Так, все, вже доєднуємося, включаємо камери і будемо зараз працювати. Пані Наталі. Пані Наталія, долучайтесь до нас. Ви нас чуєте? Наталія Вікторівна. Наталія Вікторівна. Олег Віталійович, наберіть, щоб вже зараз 11 година, ми почнемо. Так? Все, всіх вітаю. Так. Доброго дня, шановні колеги, шановні пане аспірантка. Сьогодні 24 січня 2024 року, 11:00. І дозвольте мені, як голові, розпочати засідання. Відповідно до рішення вченої ради Сумського національного аграрного університету, наказом ректора, наказ номер 636К від 15.11.2023 року у Сумському національному аграрному університеті утворено спеціалізовану вчену раду для прийняття до розгляду та проведення разового захисту дисертації Чжан Лі на тему удосконалення практики корпоративної соціальної відповідальності в Китаї, економічне оцінювання впливу ділової та фінансової рутини на корпоративної соціальної відповідальності. Англійською мовою Advertisement of Corporate Social Responsibility Practice in China, the case of impact of business and financial routine of corporate social responsibility, на здобуття ступеню доктора філософії у галузі знань 07 управління та адміністрування за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент. Склад разової ради. Головуючий Стаянець Наталія Валеріївна, доктор економічних наук, професор кафедри менеджменту імені професора Михайлової, Сумський національний аграрний університет. Рецензенти: Ткаченко Вікторія Вікторівна, кандидат економічних наук, доцент кафедри менеджменту імені професора Михайлової, Сумський національний аграрний університет. Харченко Тетяна Миколаївна, кандидат економічних наук, доцент кафедри менеджменту імені професора Михайлової, Сумський національний аграрний університет. Опоненти: Брінь Павло Володимирович, кандидат економічних наук, доцент, професор кафедри менеджменту, Національний технічний університет, Харківський політехнічний інститут. Семенишина Наталія Вікторівна, доктор економічних наук, професор кафедри обліку, оподаткування та технології електронного бізнесу, Подільський державний університет. Посади членів спеціалізованої вченої ради вказані на дату захисту дисертаційної роботи. Прошу зареєструватися, шановні рецензенти та опоненти. Так, бачу, зареєструвалися. Отже, на підставі реєстраційної картки присутні 5 членів спеціалізованої вченої ради із 5 затвердженим наказом ректора номер 636К від 15.11.2023. Кворум необхідний для засідання є, і ми маємо всі офіційні підстави для того, щоб розпочати засідання. Засідання спеціалізованої вченої ради оголошую відкритим. Сьогодні на порядку денному захист дисертації на здобуття ступеня доктора філософії, аспірантки кафедри обліку та оподаткування Сумського національного аграрного університету Чжан Лі на тему удосконалення практики корпоративної соціальної відповідальності в Китаї, економічне оцінювання впливу ділової та фінансової рутини на корпоративну соціальну відповідальність. Англійською мовою Advertisement of Corporate Social Responsibility Practice in China, the case of impact of business and financial routine in corporate social responsibility за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент. Роботу виконано в Сумському національному аграрному університеті. Науковий керівник, кандидат економічних наук, доцент Пасько Олег Віталійович. До спеціалізованої вченої ради надійшли такі документи. Заява щодо проведення атестації здобувача, копія першої сторінки паспорта громадянки Китайської Народної Республіки, копія диплома магістра, витяг з наказу про зарахування до аспірантури, засвідченої в встановленому порядку, академічна довідка про виконання відповідної освітньо-наукової програми, висновок наукового керівника, доцента Пасько Олег Віталійовича, висновок про наукову новизну, теоретичне та практичне значення результатів дисертації, дисертація в друкованому та електронних виглядах, відбитки копій наукових публікацій, зарахованих за темою дисертації, засвідченим в встановленому порядку. Усі документи відповідають встановленим вимогам. Дисертація до захисту подається вперше. Хто за пропонований порядок денний, прошу голосувати. Хто за? Так. Проти? Утримався? Немає. Пропозиція приймається, і тому дозвольте зачитати біографічні дані аспірантки. Чжан Лі, 1982 року, громадянка Китайської Народної Республіки, освіта вища, закінчила у 2015 році педагогічний університет провінції Ханань Китайської Народної Республіки за спеціальністю педагогіка фізики. Аспірантуру закінчила у 2023 році Сумський національний аграрний університет Міністерства освіти і науки міста Суми. Дисертацію виконана в Сумському національному аграрному університеті Міністерства освіти і науки України. Вибір теми дисертаційної роботи був затверджений протоколом номер 7 засідання вченої ради Сумського НАУ від 25 грудня 2019 року. Чжан Лі закінчила освітньо-наукову програму у 2023 році. 20 жовтня 2023 року відбулося розширене засідання кафедри обліку та оподаткування за спеціальністю менеджмент. І дисертація була рекомендована до рецензування та захисту у спеціалізованій вченій раді. Основні висновки дослідження були представлені у достатній кількості наукових праць, зокрема у 10 наукових публікацій. 6 з них публікацій здобувача побачили спід в періодичних наукових виданнях, які включені до баз даних Web of Science та Scopus. Додаткова наукова робота з'явилась у фахових виданнях, що внесено до переліку наукових фахових видань України. Важливо відзначити, що результати дослідження також були висвітлені на 3 міжнародних науково-практичних конференціях, на яких здобувачка активно приймала участь. Наукові публікації відповідають вимогам пункту 8.9 порядку присудження ступеня доктора філософії та скасування рішення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради закладу вищої освіти наукової установи про присудження ступеня доктора філософії. Постанова Кабінету міністрів України від 12.2022 року номер 44. Дисертація відповідає вимогам наказу МОН України номер 40 від 12.01.17 року про затвердження вимог до оформлення дисертації та порядку присудження ступеня доктора філософії та скасування рішення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради закладу вищої освіти наукової установи про присудження ступеня доктора філософії. Постанова Кабінету міністрів України від 12 січня 2022 року номер 44. Чи є питання у членів спеціалізованої вченої ради? Немає. І здобувачем погоджено, що захист дисертації буде проводитися англійською мовою. Good morning. We are start public presentation, official defense. You have 20 minutes to presentation and now share your screen. We're waiting for your report. Thank you very much.
Okay. Good morning, dear Professor. It's good honor to begin my defense with your support and to help. The topic of my dissertation is advancements of corporate social responsibility practice in China. The case of impact of business and financial routine on CSR. My report is divided into 4 parts, including the introduction, methods, results, and the conclusion. The first part is the introduction. The significance of the research topic is underscored by transformative trajectory of China's economy over the past 2 decades, where Chinese enterprise and pivotal market entity have been instrumental in fostering substantial society wealth, and the concurrent escalation of negative externality demands urgent attention. This proliferation of adverse impacts encompass environmental degradation, concerns over food and drug safety, compromised product quality, industrial accidents, infringements on employee rights, labor disputes, and the instance of deceptive financial reporting. This study aimed to address gaps theoretical CSR research in China, focusing on understanding CSR, current CSR fulfillment status, factors influencing CSR behavior, and the impact on business performance. The scientific novelty of the results obtained in this study is as follows. For the first time, a general and complete model of dual standpoint and multidimensional analysis is proposed. This study pioneers a dual research stance. Departing from one-sided business performance focus in previous research, examined CSR performance from the perspective of both Chinese enterprise and governmental organizations. The research delves into the influence factors at the micro level of enterprise routines and the macro strategy environment. Improved. First, robust framework and methodology for CSR practice research. This paper presents a meticulous crafted research idea and methodology, offering a systematic and comprehensive framework for CSR practice research. Second, enhancing CSR impact factor measurement through indicator diversification. This paper contributes to the advancement of CSR impact factor measurements by adopting a diversified set of indicators. Third, enriching CSR research, theoretical and empirical contributions. This paper significantly contributes to the field of CSR research by enriching and expanding its theoretical foundation. For further development, first, strategic CSR and organizational resilience in public crisis, a conceptual redefinition. This paper introduced a novel perspective by redefining strategic CSR and exploits its impact on organizational resilience in the public crisis, thereby advancing the conceptual framework of CSR research. Second, reconstruction of CSR development system under the lens of enterprise ecosystem theory in the context of China digital economic transformation. Drawing on the enterprise ecosystem theory, this thesis meticulously restructures a novel CSR development system and operational mechanism models tailored to the strategic landscape of China's digital economic transformation. Third, prospect for the evolution for CSR to ESG, a comprehensive analysis. This work delves into the evolution of CSR into environmental, societal, and governance situation. ESG as an extension within the realm of financial investment. Next is the second part, method. In this thesis research, a systematic approach has been explored, integrating the system analysis method, literature research method, normative research method, and the empirical research method, supplemented by auxiliary methods such as quantitative and quantitative research method, micro and macro analysis, and countermeasure research method. The development variables in this study is CSR reporting quality, which is measured by ranking CSR score. The independent variables are CSR assurance and ownership concentration, firm size, firm age, leverage, return on assets, corporate growth, ownership rights, both sides. They are used as control variables. There are 3 data sources for this study: CSMAR, RKS, and annual reports of listed companies. To mitigate the influences of potential outlier, all of the continuous variables are visualized at the 5th and 95th percentiles. Statistical software data is used for data processing and regression analysis. And the next is the third part result. Figure 2.1 illustrates the overall situation of CSR performance of listed companies in China in the past decades. The number of enterprises fulfilling CSR in China has steadily increased. Figure 2.2 analyzes the fulfillment of CSR of Chinese listed companies by industrials. The number of enterprises fulfilling CSR in most industrials is increasing, and individual industrial are relatively stable. Manufacturing industrial with the largest proportion. Figure 2.3 analyzes the fulfillment of CSR by listed companies in China by province and cities. The region with small enterprises fulfilling CSR are concentrated in the more economically developed region. Figure 2.4 depicts the characteristic of Chinese CSR ownership, and it can be seen from the figure that Chinese SOEs are far more likely to undertake CSR than private enterprises. The table shows the results of multiple regression analysis. Choose external assurance as a typical important influencing factor of CSR to conduct detailed empirical research. The results in column 1 and 2 show that the CSR assurance significantly positively affects the quality of CSR information disclosure. However, when the majority shareholder's shareholding ratio is increased to be able to effectively control the company, it will hinder and put a cap on the advancement in the quality of CSR through its assurance. Among the control variables, firm size, both sides, and the ownership rights are significantly positively correlated with CSR score, whereas the company age and financial leverage are significantly negatively correlated with CSR score. Next is the first part, conclusion. In order to provide some practical enlightenment and suggestion for the improvement and development of Chinese enterprise CSR management system and the establishment of a good mechanism for the application of empirical research results, we will specially discuss some of the main conclusions as follows. First, external assurance contributes to improve the quality of CSR reports. Second, in general, no matter in mandatory or voluntary regulatory system, the CSR performance of Chinese enterprise has a significant negative correlate with a degree of corporate tax avoidance. Third, the results of the empirical study show that high-quality financial audit has a positive impact on CSR reports through the transfer effect. Fourth, empirical evidence shows that there is a negative correlation between accounting conservatism and the CSP. Fifth, there are a correlation between CG attributes and sustainable reporting behavior in Chinese companies. Sixth, the fulfillment of CSR can promote the sustainable development of the company. Seventh, there is a significant positive correlation between SC audit and the CSR performance. Eighth, the empirical results show that there is a positive correlation between management ability and CSR fulfillment. Future development change and the practical strategy of CSR management in China. First, the effect of strategy of CSR on organization resilience in an uncertain environment of major public crisis. For example, COVID-19. This figure shows mechanism of CSR on organizational resilience in public crisis situation. Second, the restructuring and upgrading of CSR management system framework in the context of China digital economic transformation. Figure 3.3 and 3.4 show structural model and operational mechanism. Third, the great innovation of CSR management system in the context of China dual carbon goals. The figure shows the path of the great innovation and the implementing CSR of Chinese enterprise for low carbon development under the background of dual carbon target. The evolution path from CSR to ESG based on China's sustainable development information disclosure practice. The focus of the capital market on CSR information disclosure is gradually shifting from CSR to ESG. The two figures show that the development process of international standard for CSR. In contrast, under the guidance of dual carbon goals, China is accelerating the construction of the ESG system based on the practical imperative of CSR information disclosure in foreign countries, and has gradually established a set of ESG information disclosure system with Chinese characteristics. What follows are my scientific publications related to my PhD research. There are one article published in the specialized scientific publication of Ukraine. There are 5 journal articles indexed in the scopes. There are 3 conference papers published in academic conferences. Thank you for listening. My whole dissertation report is over here. You can put forward any comments or questions. Thank you.
Thank you. The report is complete. Please ask question according to my list. Tkachenko Victoria, would you like to be first?
Yes, of course. Chžan Lī, thank you for your presentation, for your comprehensive research, but I have some questions for you. First of all, I have noticed that the corporate governance and corporate social responsibility and empirical studies in chapter 2.3 prove that the proportion of female directors of the board of directors in China is not important for the sustainable development of the company. Yes? So, my questions, what do you think, what is the reason of this situation?
Thank you for your questions. My answer is there are many reasons. The following are some possible explanations. Some selection problems, data quality problems, other factors. The sustainable development of the company is affected by many factors, such as market competition, policies, and regulation, and technology changes. Therefore, although there may be some bias in the empirical research result, the important roles of female director cannot be ignored. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you for your answer. And one more question. For the section 2.2, accounting, conservatism, and CSR, the impact of accounting conservatism on CSR is mentioned in the study. What are the reasons behind the impact? Is there any maybe theoretical or empirical support for this effect?
Thank you for your questions. The reason why accounting conservatism affects CSR mainly includes the following aspects. First, information asymmetry and management decision-making. Due to the existence of information asymmetry, management change to prefer the information that is beneficial to them when making decisions. Second, resource consumption of social responsibility activities. Enterprise need to pay a resource to participate in CSR activities such as charitable donation, improving employee welfare, and increasing investments in environmental protection. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you for your answers, Chžan Lī. I'm satisfied with them. That's all.
Thank you. Next, Professor Харченко Tatiana, your question, please.
Okay, Chžan Lī, thank you for your interesting scientific research. And I have a question. So the first one, in the section 2, you analyze the current situation of corporate social responsibility, theoretical and practical development in China. What do you think are the core issues facing corporate social responsibility in China today, and what are the characteristics of CSR practices of China's enterprises?
Thank you for your questions. My answer is, at present, the core issue facing CSR in China mainly includes the following aspects: lack of awareness, lack of strategic planning, inadequate information disclosure, imperfect management system, low social participation. The characteristic of CSR practice of Chinese enterprise mainly includes the following aspects: diversified participation, focus on social responsibility, gradually institutionalized, close integrating with business, increasing public awareness. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And the next question. For the section 3 related to corporate social responsibility, engagement, and internal control, please, could you explicate what is the results of your research? If a company's internal control is defective, what impact does this have on the fulfillment of CSR, and will this impact lead to a decline in the sustainability of the enterprise?
Thank you for your questions. My answer is deficiency in internal control may cause the following problems: information asymmetry and decision-making errors, unreasonable resource allocation, risk management failures, regulatory failures. To sum up, the defects of an enterprise internal control may have a negative impact on the fulfillment of CSR and in turn affect the sustainable development ability of an enterprise. Therefore, enterprise should strengthen the construction of internal control and improve the effectiveness of internal control to ensure fulfillment of CSR and sustainable development. That's all. Thank you.
So we continue. Professor Pavlo, bring your question, please.
Thank you. Dear Chžan Lī, my first question is connected with the period of analyzing data about Chinese companies. You chose the interval from 2009 to 2019. Could you explain why have you chosen this time period?
Thank you for your questions. My answer is, first, data for this time period is relatively complete and easy to obtain, enable more comprehensive and accurate research analysis. 2. Since 2009, the Chinese government has strengthened its attention and guidance on CSR, and a series of relevant policy and regulation to encourage enterprise to actively fulfill their CSR. Third, the number and scales of enterprises continue to expand, and the market competition is becoming increasingly fierce. Fourth, in recent years, the public attention to CSR has been increasing. The higher requirements have been put forward for CSR practice. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you for your questions. And if possible, I have one more question. It is a little bit more general, connected, not some part of your paper, but generally. Dear Chžan Lī, what do you think? Can we see some interdependence between CSR and company competitiveness?
Okay, thank you for your questions. My answer is, I think these two variables is highly correlated now. At the beginning of CSR concepts, the concept was more about just responsibility, but now the consumer pays a lot of attention for great status of the producer. They lack to put but products produced by a responsibility company. Therefore, the CSR became a source of competitiveness. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm satisfied with the answers.
So continue. Professor Natalia Semenishina, your question.
Thank you. Dear Chžan Lī, thank you. very much for your presentation. I have two questions. The first, in your paper, I noticed that in 2.2, accounting and financial aspects, routine and corporate social responsibility, CSR. Why did you choose external assurance as a typical important influencing factors of CSR? To conduct detailed empirical research, and is there enough data to support for the study conclusions?
Oh, thank you for your questions. My answer is first, in exploring an independent third party to verify CSR report and issue verification opinions as a way to improve the credibility of CSR report. Second, some international scholars have conducted existence research on it, but the research objects are mostly capitalistic countries with developed market economy. Third, China's unique market economic environment and the political and economic system also has a very important impact on the external assurance of CSR report. China's listed company cover a variety of industrial regions and scales with a certain representation, although it can not completely represent all types of enterprise. The data of this company still have certain reference value for the research in the specific field of CSR research, information disclosure. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. And second, what main research methods have you adopted in the 2.2 external assurance and CSR study?
Thank you for your questions. In our research, the following research methods are mainly used: literature review method, quantitative analysis research method, content analysis, case study method. We take the following measure to ensure the reliable and validity of my research. First, to measure audit quality, we refer to the domestic and foreign authoritative audit in situation evaluation index. Second, we have carried out multi-channel verification to ensure the accuracy and completeness of the data. Third, the research results are multi-node verified to improve the reliability of the research. Fourth, control variables are included in the multiple regression model to reduce interference of other potential factors. That's all. Thank you.
So, thank you. Continue. And me for dessert. The same. Thank you very much for your deep research and presentation. And the first question for you, Chžan Lī. I noticed that many analyses in the paper you have divided enterprises in the state-owned enterprises and not state-owned enterprises. Question: what is the consideration based on?
Thank you for your questions. My answer is first, state-owned enterprise refer to enterprise whose ownership is owned by the state, while non-state-owned enterprises refer to enterprises with other forms of ownership other than state-owned enterprises. Second, state-owned enterprises usually bear certain social responsibility and policy objectives, while non-state-owned enterprises pay more attention to economic efficiency and market competitiveness. Third, state-owned enterprise may face more government regulation and social attention, while non-state-owned enterprise may face more market-oriented competing pressures. Fourth, state-owned enterprise occupy a large proportion in Chinese enterprise and have a certain representation in social responsibility practice and information disclosure. Thank you. That's all.
I'm satisfied. And last question from me. You mentioned the evolution of corporate social responsibility to environment, social, and corporate governance in 3.3. Why do you think corporate social responsibility will become environment, social, and corporate governance?
Thank you for your questions. The shifting from CSR to ESG is mainly due to several reasons. First, as investors became more focused on sustainable investing and long-term value, they are paying more attention to company environment, social and governance performance. Second, global climate changes, environment pollution, and other environment problems are becoming increasingly serious, making the environmental responsibility of enterprise become the focus of public and investors. Third, with the complexities of social issues such as human rights, labor rights, data privacy, and other issues, CSR is also facing more challenge. Fourth, good corporate governance is a basis for long-term development of enterprises and the guarantee of investor confidence. That's all. Thank you.
I'm satisfied. Thank you, dear colleagues. No more question. So, Chжан Лі, you have some minutes for rest because I reading official document. Шановні колеги, я маю оголосити висновок про наукову новизну, теоретичне та практичне значення результатів дослідження. Сам висновок, він є в матеріалах справи, тому я зупинюся лише на головних моментах. Щодо актуальності обраного дослідження, то корпоративний блок, в свою чергу, виконує важливу роль у визначенні того, як ці фінансові аспекти відображають у фінансовій звітності та важливо для зацікавлених сторін. Сам факт інвестування чи виконання соціальних практик є ключовим, але їхнє відображення у звітності визначає ефективність цих ініціатив. Щодо мети і завдання дослідження, то воно корелюється з елементами наукової новизни. Зупинюся на елементах наукової новизни, а саме в роботі авторкою вперше запропонована загальну та повну модель двостороннього та багатовимірного аналізу впливу на результативність корпоративної соціальної відповідальності. Дослідження є подвійною дослідницькою позицією, що входить від одностороннього фокусування на ефективність бізнесу в попередніх дослідженнях, які, на відміну від попередніх, є обмеження рівнями управління чи підприємства. Ця робота систематично об'єднує ті перспективи, пропонуючи комплексний аналіз на мікрорівні. Також з таких основних моментів дослідження розширює знання про корпоративну соціальну відповідальність шляхом аналізу факторів впливу з мікро-, мезо- та макроперспектив, охоплюючи економіку, управління, поведінку, компетентність та навколишнє середовище, тобто факторах впливу, поведінкові результати, вплив на результат. На відміну від попередніх досліджень, переважно досліджували прямий зв'язок між корпоративною соціальною відповідальністю та фінансовою організаційною діяльністю. З фінансово-економічної та управлінської точок зору це дослідження відкриває перспективу, орієнтовану на управління, заглиблюючись в рутинну поведінку підприємства мікрорівнів в бухгалтерському, фінансовому та організаційному блоках. Покращення вимірювання імпакт-фактора шляхом диверсифікації показників, набуло подальшого розвитку концептуальне перевизначення взаємов'язку стратегічної корпоративної соціальної відповідальності та організаційної стійкості в суспільних кризах. представляє робота наукову перспективу, переосмислюючи стратегічну корпоративну соціальну відповідальність і досліджуючи її вплив на стійкість організації в умовах криз. А також набули подальшого розвитку підходи до розвитку корпоративної соціальної відповідальності під призмою теорії екосистем, підприємства в контексті трансформації цифрової економіки Китаю, та набули подальшого розвитку перспективи еволюції корпоративної соціальної відповідальності до екологічне, соціальне та врядування, представляючи як розширення сфери фінансових інвестицій. Щодо апробації результатів роботи, то вона оприлюднена на 3 всеукраїнських та міжнародних наукових конференціях та конгресах Луцьку, Угорщині, також особиста участь автора підтверджена відповідними публікаціями, які свідчать про активну наукову діяльність та високий рівень експертизи в обраній галузі. Щодо дотримання здобувачем принципів академічної доброчесності, рецензенти провели аналіз у звіт на плагіат, що показав високий рівень унікальності роботи. Щодо публікацій за темою дисертації, то, зокрема, їх 10, а саме 6 включені до міжнародних баз даних Web of Science та Scopus. Структура роботи з вступу 3 розділів висновків список використаних джерел, список використаних джерел налічує 196, становить 214 сторінок, викладена сама робота, включено 19 таблиць та 15 рисунків, написана грамотною англійською мовою. Також за змістом структури оформленням відповідає вимогам Міністерства освіти про забезпечення функціональної української мови як державної. Щодо оцінки мови і стилю я вже зазначила. Також ступінь наукової зрілості Чжан Лі, аспірантки. Вона володіє сучасними методами дослідження, пакетами прикладних програм для проведення досліджень, володіє 2 мовами. Також можна її характеризувати як працездатну, творчу та наполегливу дослідницю. А от основний висновок засідання, що дисертаційна робота Чжан Лі на тему «Удосконалення практик корпоративної соціальної відповідальності в Китаї, економічне оцінювання впливу ділової та фінансової рутини на корпоративну соціальну відповідальність», англійською «Advertisement of Corporate Social Responsibility Practice in China, the case in the of the impact of business and financial routine on corporate social responsibility, яка подана на здобуття ступеня доктора філософії за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент, за своїм науковим рівнем та практичною цінністю повністю відповідає вимогам пункту 6 Постанови Кабінету міністрів України про затвердження порядку присудження ступеня доктора філософії та скасування рішення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради закладу вищої освіти наукової постанови про присудження ступеня доктора філософії 12.01.2022 року номер 44 та вимогам до оформлення дисертації, затвердженими наказом МОН України 12.01.2017 року номер 40 та відповідає напрямку наукового дослідження освітньо-наукової програми Сумського національного аграрного університету за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент. Тобто з висновком я вас ознайомила, тому ми розпочинаємо обговорення дисертаційної роботи Чжан Лі. We've been guiding to discussion of the dissertation work by Чжан Лі. I invite to review to speak Ткаченко Victoria, candidate of PhD, associate professor, department management named after Professor Mikhailova, Sumy National Agrarian University. Victoria, you are welcome.
That the full text of research can be found on the attestation file or the applicant or university's website. So I would like to go to the main points. Okay. The following scientific provisions can be attributed to the most significant achievements. For the first time, the author proposed a general and complete model of two-way and multi-dimension analysis of the impact of CSR performance. This study pioneers a dual research stance, moving away from the one-sided focus on business performance in previous studies. Unlike previous studies limited to management or enterprise levels, this work systematically integrates these perspectives, offering a comprehensive analysis including the micro level. This dissertation comprehensively examines the evolution of corporate social responsibility practices in China. The research advances the knowledge of CSR by analyzing influencing factors from micro, meso, and macro perspectives, covering economics, governance, behavioral and competence, and environment. The dissertation presents a modified structure of process analysis, influencing factors, behavioral outcomes, impact on outcome. In addition, the study builds a new CSR development strategy and related model addressing the macro environment of the digital economy and the double carbon goal. In contrast to the previous studies that have mostly explored the direct relationship between CSR and financial performance from financial, economic, and managerial perspectives, this study provides a management-oriented perspective by delving into the routine micro-level behavior on enterprises in accounting and on organizational accounting or management. This approach reveals the complex interaction and influence of routine behaviors such as internal control, assurance on CSR reporting, the role of the financial audit as CSR reporting, and on CSR in general. Improving the measurement of the CSR impact factor by diversifying indicators. This dissertation contributes to improving the measurement of the CSR impact factor by adopting a diverse set of indicators. While previous scholars have primarily evaluated internal control through design, process, deficiency, and audit elements, this study expands the scope of internal control indicators. Measurement now goes beyond an audit perspective to include operational aspects such as corporate sustainable growth, strategic considerations such as non-market strategy, and other target achievements. At the same time, the integration of corporate risk factors add even more variety to the design of measurement indicators, increasing the overall completeness of the assessment of factors influencing CSR performance. The conceptual redefinition of the relationship between strategic CSR and organizational sustainability in social crisis has gained further development. The dissertation presents a new perspective by rethinking strategic corporate social responsibility and exploring its impact on organizational resilience in the face of crisis, thus developing a conceptual framework for CSR research. Using the theory of Chжan Lі, as the author elucidated the mechanism by which the implementation of CSR affects the resilience of the organization during social crisis. This mechanism is divided into the process of signaling, which includes emotional resonance, and the process of behavior feedback, which includes the support of action. The dissertation carefully analyzes how companies, by implementing CSR, contribute to increasing organizational resilience, shedding light on the complex relationship between strategic CSR and organizational adaptability in crisis scenarios. Approaches to the development of CSR under the prism of the theory of enterprise ecosystems have gained further development in the context of the transformation of China's digital economy. Based on the ecosystem theory of the enterprise, the work thoroughly restructures the new CSR development system and operating mechanism model adapted to the strategic landscape of China's digital economy transformation. The perspective of the evaluation from CSR to ESG has gained further development. The dissertation explores the evaluation of CSR into environmental, social, and governance, presenting ESG as an extension of the sphere of financial investment. Based on a green and sustainable development perspective, the study focuses on the current focus of CSR development, providing a detailed examination of the historical trajectory and internal and external catalysts driving the transition from CSR to ESG. The analysis covers the differences between ESG and CSR, shedding light on ESG indicators, reporting standards, disclosure frameworks and guidelines, a prospective assessment of the current trajectory of disclosure of information on sustainable development in China, particularly in line with the goals outlined in the double carbon goal is offered. So I would like to say that scientific importance of the obtained research results is manifested in the solution of a key scientific and applied task regarding the impact of corporate accounting and finance, as well as organization and management procedures of the level of CSI in public companies in China. And the practical significance of the results obtained in the work is manifested in the specific applications of the developed set of methodological principles and practical recommendations in the process of managing the relationship between CSR and financial, economic activities, as well as organizational and management practices of companies. So let's fall into the main results. Yes, the scientific proposition, conclusions, and recommendations of this dissertation are successfully justified, reliable, and follow from the results of the research. The work has a logical structure of conclusions, which are due to the nature of the research. In order to provide reasoned research results, the author used a large-scale information base, scientific publications, norms and regulations, various ratings of public companies in China, personal observation, and well as information from network. Chжан Li's dissertation consists of an introduction, the main content, which includes 3 chapters, conclusions, a list of used literature sources, and appendixes. The volume of the main text is 214 pages, including 19 tables and 15 figures. The introduction contains all the necessary structural elements, such as general descriptions of the dissertation work, definition of the goal, tasks, objects, subject, research methods, highlighting the connection of the research with scientific programs and plans, as well as the author personal contribute to the research. Approbation of the results, submitted publications on the topic of the work, structure and scope of the work are also indicated. In the first chapter, characteristics of corporate social responsibility as an element of enterprise management, the fundamental nature of CSR was studied. The main elements and components of this concept were determined. An analysis of the theoretical achievements that formed the basis of CSR was carried out in order to understand its development and influence on the financial success of companies. In particular, the relationship between CSR initiatives and financial business procedures of firms is considered. In the second chapter, the current state of corporate social responsibility in the People's Republic of China, a detailed analysis of CSR initiatives in the Chinese context is provided, focusing on accounting and financial aspects and organizational and management procedures. The influence of financial aspects on CSR initiatives or vice versa is investigated, and the organizational and managerial aspects of social responsibility in Chinese business landscape are considered. The third chapter, Formation and Implementation of an Improved CSR Management Mechanism of Enterprises, focuses on the effective empirical analysis based on the data collected during the research. The author identifies key patterns, correlations, and implications related to the CSR management and considers future trends and strategies in this direction. The chapter also traces the evaluation from CSR to aspects of environmental, social responsibility, and government standards, ESG, examine current trends in sustainability and corporate social responsibility in the context of China. Various sources were used to confirm the validity of the study, including scientific publications, regulations and rating of public companies in China. Dissertation abstracts were presented at the scientific and practical conferences, received positive feedback. So the main result of the research were published in 10 scientific works, in particular one in specialized publication of Ukraine. 6 articles in publication included the scientometric database Scopus and Web of Science. The research results were also highlighted at 3 international scientific and practical conferences in which the applicants' activity participate. So, positively assessing the research in general, it's worth paying attention. So, remarks, yes. In particular, in the dissertation work of the recipient, the first one. In the theoretical part of the dissertation, the author describes the relevant theories that explain the mechanism of interrelationship and interdependence between corporate governments and corporate social responsibility, mentioned the agency theory, the theory of stakeholders, and the theory of information asymmetry. At the same time, in this way, in our opinion, limiting, possibly from in order to save space, research, because it was also worth considering other theories, such as signaling theories, theories of legitimacy, theories of corporate culture, and theories of corporate risk. The next one, in the second chapter, the author proved that the state-owned public companies of China are less influenced by corporate governance factors. But this hypothesis hasn't been proved to the level of a scientific result. The third one, in the second chapter, the author divided CSR behavior into 2 levels, while not justifying his choice in detail, at the same time as this category is subject to a greater number of levels. The next one, in the first 5 tables of the second chapter. This is pages 78, 84. There is an inconsistency of the covered time period 2020 and 2021, which may violate the agency of the results of such an analysis. We believe that the availability of data for 2022 would increase the effectiveness of the sample. Yes. So, however, the indicated comments and wishes don't fundamentally affect the overall positive evaluation of Chжан Li's dissertation work. In general, the research meets all the requirements and don't reduce its rather high overall evaluation. And the content of the work corresponds to the passport of the specialty of Chžan Li. So the Chžan Li's dissertation, Advancements of the Corporate Social Responsibility Practice in China, the Case of the Impact of Business and Financial Routine on CSR, meets the requirements of the order of the Ministry of Education and Culture of Ukraine, number 40, dated January 12 from 2017. The requirements of the educational and scientific programs successfully completed by the applicant, the requirements of the procedure for awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and consultation of the decision of the one-time specialized academic council of the institution of higher education, scientific institution of awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, and its author, Chžan Li, can be recommended for awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the field of knowledge 07 Management and Administration under specialty 073 Management by one-time specialized academic council. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Victoria. Chžan Li, you are given the opportunity to respond to the comments that have been posted in review.
Thank you, Professor, for your valuable comments. We will take your wishes in account in future research. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let me respond one questions. The first questions, we admit that we didn't fully cover all theories related to corporate governance and CSR in this paper. Specific theory has been chosen to focus on because of their central roles in explaining the relationship between corporate governance and CSR, and at the same time, time and space concentrate are an important factors in this choice. Thank you. That's my answer.
Are you satisfied with the answer, Victoria?
Yes, I'm satisfied with the answer of Chžan Li, and I hope that these remarks will help her in the further researches. Yes.
Thank you. So continue. I invite review to speak Professor Tatiana Харченко, PhD of Economics, Department of Management, named after Professor Mikhailova, Sumy National Agrarian University. You are welcome.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to review the work. The full review is attached to the materials of the attestation file and to the website. Therefore, I will introduce the main points of the review. The interaction of corporate accounting and finance with CSR strategies has become an object of attention of scientists and researchers due to the growing awareness of social and environmental challenges in modern business. Research has shown that financial aspects such as investments in sustainability, emission reduction, and other socially responsible practices can have an impact on a company's financial success. At the same time, corporate accounting determines how these financial aspects are reflected in the financial statements that matter to stakeholders. Organizational and managerial routines have also proven to be a key element in making a positive impact on CSR. Effective management practices aimed in integrating social and environmental issues into strategic decision-making can significantly increase the level of a company's social responsibility. In view of this, the topic of Chžan Lī of dissertation, improving corporate social responsibility practices in China, is timely, relevant, theoretically, and practically significant. The dissertation was carried out within the framework of the research plan of the Department of Accounting and Taxation of Summa National Agrarian University. The reliability and validity of the scientific positions, conclusions, and recommendations formulated by the applicant of his work are beyond doubt. The most significant achievements include the following scientific provisions. I read only the few. This dissertation of the authors was to propose a general and complete model for the two-sided and multidimensional analysis of the impact of on CSR performance. This research is a pioneer of the dual research stance, which departs from the one-side focus on business performance in previous studies. Unlike previous studies limited to the management on enterprise levels, this work systematically combines these perspectives, offering a comprehensive analysis including the macro level. This dissertation fully explores the evolution of corporate social responsibility practices in China. This research extends the knowledge of CSR by analyzing the influencing factors from micro, meso, and macro perspectives, covering economics, governance, behaviors, competence, and environment. The dissertation presents a modified process analysis framework, emphasizing influence factors, behavioral outcomes, impact on outcome. In addition, the study designs a new CSR development strategy and associated model addressing the macro environment of the digital economy and the double carbon target. In contrast to previous studies that have mainly investigated the direct link between CSR and financial organizational performance from financial, economic, and managerial perspectives, this approach revolves the complex interplay and impact of routine behaviors of the financial auditors of CSR reporting, CSRs and tax avoidance, CSR and corporate governance attributes on CSR. The approaches of CSR development under the prism of the enterprise ecosystem theory were further developed in the context of the transformation of China's digital economy. Based on the enterprise economy ecosystem theory, the paper carefully restructured a new CSR development system and on operating mechanism model adapted to the strategical landscape of China's digital economy transformation. The scientific provisions, conclusions, and recommendations of the dissertation are sufficiently substantiated, reliable, and follow from the results of the study. The work has a logically constructed structure of conclusions which are due to the nature of the study. The first chapter explores the fundamental nature of corporate social responsibility, outlines its main element and components that make up its essence in the context of enterprise management. This chapter discusses the theoretical achievements that have formed the conceptual basis of CSR. By discussing key theoretical perspectives, it provides an understanding of how corporate social responsibility has evolved and how different theories contribute to our understanding of this multifaceted concept. The second chapter, the current state of corporate social responsibility in China, presents an in-depth analysis of the current state and features of socially responsible activities of China's business entities. It aims to offer a comprehensive overview of the landscape of CSR initiative in the Chinese context, focusing on the accounting and financial aspect. This chapter explores the relationship between conversational financial practice and corporate social responsibility in Chinese economic entities. Going further into the organizational and governance aspect, this chapter examines the relationship between conventional organizational practices and corporate social responsibility in China's business landscape. In the third chapter, formation and implementation of the improved mechanism of CSR management at enterprises, they also discussed in detail the results of the empirical analysis developing the ideas obtained from the data collected during the study. By critically analyzing the empirical results, they also aims to identify key patterns, correlations, and implications related of CSR management in enterprises. Focusing on the future direction of CSR governance in China, this chapter studies further development trends and formulates practical strategies. By forecasting the evolving landscape, it seeks to guide enterprise towards effective CSR practices that are appropriate to the dynamic socio-economic context. In order to obtain reasonable results in the study, they also used a wide information-based scientific publication rules and regulations, as well as various rating of public companies in China. The validity of the scientific positions and conclusions set out in the thesis is confirmed by the significant amount of research conducted, in-depth scientific analysis using the best foreign experience, the use of modern methods of analysis in their testing at scientific and practical conferences and industrial activities. The main results of the research are published in a sufficient number of scientific publications, 10 scientific papers. A great deal of work has been done on publication in Web of Science core collection, and database on publication was published in scientific journals included in the list of professional scientific journals in Ukraine. Positively assessing the study as a whole, it's important to note a few discussion points and comments. The first chapter of the work devoted to the theoretical aspect of CSR can be expanded, in particular taking into account a wider range of views on this topic and taking into account current trends in CSR theory. Second one, the third section, dealing with practical strategies of corporate social responsibility management, consideration should be given to practical aspects of implementation of the proposed strategies and their effectiveness in specific conditions of Chinese business. The next one, in the third section, devoted to the evolutionary process from CSR to environmental, social, and governance, the transition should be justified in more detail, taking into account the specifics of the Chinese context and sustainable development practices. For the aim of international adaptation of the positive experience of the impact of corporate accounting, finance, and organizational and management routines on corporate social responsibility, it was advisable to conduct a comparative analysis of existing approaches in public companies of Ukraine, European Union, and the People's Republic of China in Section 2. Such a comparative study would have significantly increased the value of the dissertation. The next one, when formulating recommendations on the impact of corporate accounting, finance, and organizational and management routines on corporate social responsibility, it's advisable to take into account the risks that a company may face in an unstable market, especially when participating in international trade. However, these comments are a subject of academic discussion and don't distract from the overall positive impression of Chжан Li's dissertation. Chжan Li's dissertation on the topic advancement of corporate social responsibility practice in China, the case of the impact of business and financial routine on CSR, which was submitted for defense to the Specialized Academic Council for obtain the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the field of knowledge of 07 Management and Administration, specialty 073 Management, according to its relevant scientific theoretical level, main results of justification, main provisions, and results published in professional publication, novelty of the production and practical significance. It meets the requirements of the order of the Minister of Education and Science of Ukraine number 40 from 12 January 2017 on approval of requirements for the preparation of a dissertation and resolution of the Cabinet of Minister of Ukraine date from 12 of January 2022 number 44 on approval of the procedure for awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and cancellation of the decision of the one-time specialized academic council of a higher educational institution, scientific institution on awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, with change introduced in accordance with the resolution of the Cabinet of Ministers number 341 from 21 March 2023. The content of the dissertation corresponds to the passport of the specialty. Thank you.
Chжan Lі, you are given the opportunity to respond to comments that have been posted in a review, please.
Thank you, Professor. The comments are very important for us. We will take into consideration them for future research. Now let me answer one of them. The second questions. We will consider your suggestion and consider the particularly and the cultural backgrounds of Chinese enterprise in more details when discussing practical strategy for CSR management to exploit the political, economic, cultural, and social environment factors in implementing CSR management in China. That's all. Thank you.
Tatiana, are you satisfied with the deep answer?
Thank you very much, Chžan Lī. I'm satisfied.
So, I invite an official opponent to speak, Professor Pavlo Brin, PhD, Professor of Department of Management, National Technical University, Kharkiv Polytechnic Institute. You are welcome.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay, great. So, first of all, I would like to say many thanks to the members of this specialized academic council for inviting me as an official reviewer for this interesting dissertation. You know that your scientific team and scientific school is well known far beyond not only your university, but also Sumy region. So it is a really big pleasure for me to take part in our today's team. In accordance to the rules, I prepared my review and I sent it to the PhD department of your university. Now this review is published at the official site of the university, so I will not read it, but I'd like to present the main parts of this review. Let's begin. So I'd like to begin with the fact that any research connected with sustainable development has high relevance now. It's not only because some let's say scientific fashion, but it's really because we should think about future generation. We have to think about our children. That's why any research connected with corporate social responsibility as a part of sustainable development concept have high relevance. But also this scientific topic is very important for Ukraine, and not only because of the mentioned, but also because we will have to rebuild our country after this awful situation. And I do hope, I do believe that we will choose the way of sustainable development, and that is why any research which pays attention to this topic now is very important. Next, a couple of words about the paper. Actually, the detailed description is presented in my review, so I'd like to pay not maybe a lot of attention regarding this, but let's present the main chapters of the paper. In the first part, in the first chapter of the paper, there is the description of general parts and main theoretical elements of corporate social responsibility. In the section 1.1, it was presented the essence of corporate social responsibility, and the author provided the description, the main components of the corporate social responsibility. In the next sub-chapter, the author analyzed the main theories connected with CSR. She began with the first theories, the first from the definition of corporate social responsibility provided by Howard Bowen, and then she analyzed really all the main theories connected with CSR. And as the result of the first chapter, the author tried to successfully, I would say, tried to provide explanation that the concept of corporate social responsibility really has interdependence with financial and business routine. In the second chapter, Chžan Lī conducted the state of affairs in Chinese Republic, in China, People's Republic of China, and she managed to gather a lot of really interesting information for the Chinese companies, and she covered a rather long time period, 10 years. And also she analyzed, she presented the results of analysis, how not only about the CSR, but also about the accounting of about corporate social responsibility. And also she analyzed the organizational and managerial aspects of CSR in China. And the logical end of the paper is the chapter number 3. In this chapter, the author analyzes the results of empirical analysis, and she is presenting the possible ways how to implement the results of her discussion in future. And also what is very, I think, valuable and important, she analyzes the interdependence between corporate social responsibility and ESG standard, because you know that I think this standard is the most important. So, as you can see, the structure of this paper is quite logical, and with the help of the paper, we can see the general picture of corporate social responsibility, the general state of affairs now. High relevance of scientific results of Chžan Lī also supported the fact that this PhD student took part in scientific governmental research, and the main outcomes of the paper were included to this report, scientific report. The degree of validity scientific statements, conclusions, and recommendations generally supported by the fact that she analyzed really a big number of publications, and also she correctly used mathematical and statistic methods, which are presented in the second part of the paper, as I told before. The results of the research have a rather high range of scientific quality, and the main scientific results were published in a sufficient number of journals. Actually, it was published in one Ukrainian specialized journal, and in other journals, in other foreign journals, which are indexed in Scopus or Web of Science database. Also, very important, I think, that this paper has a big practical value, because these results can be used by management of not, I think, only Chinese companies, but for the companies all over the world. But as we can see, as it happens when it is the scientific novelty, it cannot be without some problems or issues, because the PhD student is providing something new. So now I'd like to present you the main, as I think, issues in the paper. The first, the results of the analysis of components of CSR, it is section 1.1 of the paper, are not structured. The author described all the components of CSR, but didn't establish their significance and contribution to companies' overall responsibility. It's better to do it. The second issue, the analysis of basic theories of CSR, as I told, it was conducted in the subsection 1.2, is more descriptive than analytical. Yes, author successfully described the theories, but as we think it should be provided some kind of comparative analysis of the basic theories of CSR. The third issue. Actually, we agree with the main results of the study of the impact of reporting on sustainable development. It is table 1.3, pages 66 from 66 to 68 of the paper, but the results are presented in the inconvenient way. It means that it's better to organize this information in the way of scheme, because the sets of CSR attributes analyzed in the study overlap, but not are identical. The fourth issue. When researching the current state of corporate social responsibility in China, it is subsection 2.1 of the paper. The author doesn't consider the open database of United Nations Global Compact. You know that this is a really powerful organization, and as I checked in December 2023, it has 942 organizations in China. And you know that if the company or any other organization, any other kind of organization is included into this database, it means that it is possible to gather information about this company, and because the transparency is one of the rules of United Nations Global Compact. So it's better to use also these database. Then the fifth issue. Actually, it's not crucial, but in some chapters the interval of analysis ends in 2019, but in others it ends in 2019 and 2018. So, and there is no explanation why it was so. And the sixth issue, actually, maybe it is not the issue, but maybe more like recommendation, that nowadays any paper connected with corporate social responsibility has to include some words about interdependence, the concept of corporate social responsibility with competitiveness of the company, because I agree with the answer of the PhD student. Thank you. I understand that you understand. I see that you understand that really people all over the world, when people see that the company is really green, I mean, the company follows the main principles of sustainable development, so people would like to buy products and services of these companies. So that's why I would say it should be maybe if it is not a general, if it's not connected with the result of the research anyway, these interdependence must be described in the paper. But I would say that all the mentioned issues are not crucial, and anyway, the paper is very good. So the outcomes of my review. The topic of the dissertation is relevant, its structure is well thought out, and all the materials and data are presented logically and consistently. The results obtained in the dissertation collectively solve the important scientific problem connected with CSR. The dissertation is written in good English, in good academic English, and prepared in accordance with the current provisions, norm, and rules established by the Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine. The content of the dissertation corresponds to the research topic, and the content of the paper corresponds to the specialty 073 management. The dissertation of Chžan Lī contains theoretical and practical developments which indicate that the author obtained new scientific results and solved an actual scientific problem. The results also has not only theoretical significance, but also practical significance, and can be also used in educational and science activities and in future. Thus, the paper meets all the requirements of Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine, and I do believe that its author, Chžan Lī, deserves to be awarded to the scientific degree of PhD, Doctor of Philosophy, in specialty 073 management. Thank you.
Thank you, Chžan Lī. You are given the opportunity to respond to comments that have been posted in review. You are welcome.
Yeah. I agree with your comments and will take them into account in my future research. Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you for the deep answer. Are you satisfied with the answer?
Yes, thank you.
So continue. I invite unofficial opponent to speak on Professor Natalia Semenishina, Doctor of Economic Science, Professor of Department of Accounting, Taxation, and Electronic Business Technologies, Padilla State University. You are welcome.
Thank you. With your permission, I will not read my review in its entirety, especially since it is large and already posted on the site. I will dwell only on the main points. First of all, I want to emphasize that I like the work. I like, first of all, interdisciplinary accents, namely the fact that it approaches the issue of corporate social responsibility from the point of view of accounting, financial, and organizational aspects, thus shedding new light of them. Among of the main aspects, I, as a doctor of science in accounting, would single out a certain effect of the influence of auditors from the Big Four, on the quality of reporting, on sustainable development, tax aggressiveness, managerial ability. The graduate students got acquainted with these aspects of scientific novelty with great pleasure. Positively evaluation the work as a whole, it should be noted that it has some shortcomings and debatable provisions. First, in the structure of the dissertation, it is inappropriate to single out a separate paragraph 1.3, literature review, pages 52, 75, which is devoted to the analysis of scientific works on the topic of the dissertation research, because for each paragraph you can single out separate literature source. As a rule, the above information is approved in the introduction. Second, in the second chapter, pages 76, 119, there is an inconsistency of the coverage period of the study, since in some cases it ends in 2019 and in others in 2018, and in some cases in 2021, which may partially violate the adequacy of the results of such an analysis. Also, the availability of data for the year 2022 would increase the effectiveness of the sample. Set in the table 2.10, correlation matrix, page 108. Available empty cells, if they are not filled, it should be marked with a dash. Our size filled with appropriate numbers. The comments are not fundamental and do not affect the overall positive perception of the work. And I believe that the dissertation meets the requirements of the order of the Ministry of Education and Culture of Ukraine, number 40, dated January 12, 2017, on approval of requirement for the preparation of a dissertation, the requirement of educational and scientific program successfully completed by the applicant, the requirement of the procedure for the awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and cancellation of the decision of the one-time specialized academic council of the institution of higher education, scientific institution of awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. And its author, Chžan Lī, can be recommended for awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in specialty 073 management by one-time specialized academic council. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Natalia. Chžan Lī, you are given the opportunity to respond to comments that have been posted in review.
Thank you. Thank you for your constructive comments. I completely agree with you and will take them into account in future research. Thank you.
Professor Natalia, the same question. Are you satisfied with the deep answer? I can hear you. Switch on microphone, please. Natalia, switch on microphone.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. So we continue. According to the rules of work of specialized academic council, we proceed to discussion of the thesis Chжan Lі. I emphasize that all present members of academic council have the right to take part in discussion. So I ask those who want to speak about this work, according to my list, Professor Victoria Tkachenko, you will be first.
Dissertation contains all the attributes that are necessary for PhD dissertation. As can be seen from the author's abstract and dissertation report, the work is relevant, the goal and the objectives are certainly defined, various research methods are used, the results are of scientific novelty, and the work is presented in a logical sequence. The conclusions follow from the result of the study of the recipient. So in my opinion, the Chžan Lі can be recommended for awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy on specialty 073 management.
You continue. Professor Харченко Tetiana, your opinion, please.
Okay, thank you. Firstly, I would like to emphasize the importance of the topic. Business cannot operate in isolation from society, as it's part of it. At the same time, the growth of social, economic, and environmental problems on a global scale increase public expectations and requirements for social responsible activities of companies, encourage them to improve corporate and socially responsible practices and find effective measures to address socially important issues. I'm very impressed that such serious issues are raised by young scientists. Secondly, a new framework model for corporate social responsibility management system in the context of digital transformation based on the examples of companies deserves attention. And the main thing I see as valuable in this work is the green innovation of the corporate social responsibility management system in the context of China's double carbon goals, achieving carbon peak and carbon neutrality. This is really a challenge not only for China, but for the world as a whole. And I appreciate that you have shown your view on this issue and provided your own vision and valuable recommendations. Despite the fact that some points are discussed in nature, I will support positively. Thank you.
Thank you, Tatiana. Continue. Professor Pavlo Brin, your opinion.
Dear colleagues, actually, now I do believe that now we are discussing not only the paper, not only the dissertation, but our future life. Actually, it's because I think in a few years the Chinese economy now it takes the second place, but it will take the first place. And if this economy is responsible in future, it will be benefits for everybody. Generally, I do believe. That's why this research is very important for everybody, and it's a very big pleasure to see such researches also in China. This paper meets all the formal requirements. It has scientific novelty. The main results are the topic of the dissertation is actual. So I will vote for supporting this paper, definitely. Thank you, Chžan Lі, for a very interesting paper.
Thank you, Professor Natalia Семенишина. Your opinion?
Чи дозволено тут обговорювати українською мовою?
We prefer English, please. Shortly, English.
Okay. Like the dissertation, the graduate student was formed as a scientist who deserves to be awarded the academic degree, Doctor of Philosophy. I think the topic of the dissertation is relevant. Its structure is very thought out, and the material is presented logically and consistently. The results obtained in the dissertation together solve an important scientific problem. The dissertation is written in English and formatted in accordance with the current regulations, norms, and rules established by the Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine. The content of the dissertation work corresponds to the topic, to research and specialty 073 management. Chžan Lí's dissertation on the topic improving the practice of corporate social responsibility in China, an economic assessment of the impact of business balance and financial routine on CSR, was written in accordance with current requirements, contains theoretical, methodological, and practical recommendation development indications that the authors knew scientifically based the results solve a pressing scientific problem. Analysis of the dissertation work indicate that the goal set in the study was achieved, and the main task were successfully solved. The results obtained by the author have theoretical, methodological, and applied significance and can be used in educational and scientific research. Thus, I will vote for and encourage other members of the dissertation committee to do same. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalia. And my opinion, I want to say thank you to scientific supervisor, Professor Oleg Paсько, to be invite me as the head of the council, constant council. But I want to say a few sentences. I support the topic of scientific research. I write my points. The relevance of the topic is beyond doubt. Logical structure, novelty, practical recommendation. The dissertation is distinguished by the deep research of relationship between the financial activities of companies, their social responsibility, methods of corporate accounting, which makes an important contribution to development of the scientific field. But as for me, foreign experience has not been studied. I hope Chžan Lī will not stop them, but I support the dissertation work. I vote positive. Does anyone also to speak? But dear colleagues, we forgot about our scientific supervisor, Professor Oleg Paсько, what he's thinking about it. You're welcome, scientific supervisor.
So my review is attached to the dissertation, and I positively assess Chžan Lī as an independent researcher the work is of good quality and fully deserve to be awarded Чжан Лі is fully deserve to be awarded the degree of PhD in economics, in specialty management, and the work is of good quality and also is match the work of that level. Thank you very much, and also that's it. The full review is attached to the dissertation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. If there are not objection, I suggest ending to discussion. Шановні члени Ради, якщо у вас немає заперечень, то пропоную закінчити обговорення. І нами було розроблено проєкт рішення спеціалізованої вченої ради, то дозвольте його зачитати. Спеціалізована вчена рада Сумського національного аграрного університету, Міністерства освіти і науки України міста Суми прийняла рішення про присудження ступеня доктора філософії з галузі знань 07, управління та адміністрування на підставі прилюдного захисту дисертації, вдосконалення практики корпоративної соціальної відповідальності в Китаї, економічне оцінювання впливу ділової та фінансової рутини, корпоративну соціальну відповідальність, англійською Advertisement of Corporate Social Responsibility Practice in China, The Case of Impact of Business and Financial Routine of Corporate Social Responsibility за спеціальністю 073 Management. Чжан Лі, 1982 року народження, громадянка Китайської Народної Республіки, освіта вища, закінчила у 2015 році педагогічний університет провінції Хенань Китайської Народної Республіки за спеціальністю педагогіка фізики. Аспірантуру закінчила у 2023 році Сумський національний аграрний університет Міністерства освіти і науки України міста Суми. Дисертацію виконано в Сумському національному аграрному університеті Міністерства освіти і науки міста Суми. Науковий керівник Пасько Олег Вітайович, кандидат економічних наук, доцент кафедри обліку та оподаткування Сумського національного аграрного університету. Здобувачка має 10 наукових публікацій, зокрема одну у фахових виданнях України, 6 статей у виданнях, включених до наукометричних баз даних Scopus та Web of Science. А решта публікацій є матеріалами наукових конференцій. Тому переходимо до процедури відкритого голосування. Прошу членів спеціалізованої вченої ради проголосувати і озвучити рішення щодо присудження Чжан Лі ступеня доктора філософії за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент. Зверніть увагу, я, Стоянець Наталія, голосую за присудження ступеня доктора філософії Чжан Лі за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент. Наступне, будь ласка, Ткаченка Вікторія. Мікрофон включіть, будь ласка, мікрофон, так.
Вибачте, я Ткаченко Вікторія, голосую за присудження Чжан Лі ступеня доктора філософії зі спеціальності 073 менеджмент.
Дякую. Харченко Тетяна.
Я Харченко Тетяна, голосую за присудження наукового ступеня доктора філософії Чжан Лі за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент.
Дякую. Павло Брінь.
Я, Павло Брінь, голосую за присудження Чжан Лі ступеню PhD за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент.
Дякую. Семенишина Наталія.
Я, Наталія Семенишина, голосую за присудження ступеню PhD Чжан Лі за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент.
Дякую. 5 голосів за, проти немає. На підставі результатів відкритого голосування спеціалізована вчена рада присуджує Чжан Лі ступінь доктора філософії з галузі знань 07 управління та адміністрування за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент. Чи є зауваження щодо рішення спеціалізованої вченої ради? Зауважень немає. Дозвольте привітати Чжан Лі з успішним захистом дисертації. Let's say the word of congratulations, Чжан Лі. The scientific council divided to you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, specialty 073 management. Would you like say some words, Чжан Лі?
Yeah, at last, thanks again to the members of the Defense Committee. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to my supervisor, Professor Olai Pascal for his instructive advice and useful suggestions on my thesis, and to all those who helped me during my study in Zurich National Agri University. Also, I'm really grateful for the love of my family and the best friends have given me. Without your unconditional support and help, I might not be able to successfully complete my PhD. Thank you.
Thank you. Шановні колеги, на цьому засідання спеціалізованої вченої ради вважається закритим. Дякую всім за роботу, дуже було приємно познайомитись і попрацювати. Все, відключаюсь.